Imagine losing everything: family, health, wealth, and yet still holding on to faith. My name is Job, and my story isn't just about suffering. It's about faith that defies reason, resilience that outlasts the darkest nights. When everything was taken from me, the world thought my faith would crumble. But in my heart, I clung to something deeper, a trust in God's plan that didn't depend on my circumstances. My journey is a testament to the power of unbreakable faith, a reminder that no matter how deep the suffering, God's wisdom and purpose go beyond our understanding. Let's journey together through my story, a tale of loss, faith, and ultimately, divine restoration. Job's story is one of the most profound narratives in the Bible, a journey through suffering, faith, and resilience that continues to resonate with people to this day. He was a man blessed with wealth, a loving family, and good health, until it was all stripped away. Imagine facing the loss of everything you hold dear, and still choosing to keep faith in God. Job's life shows that faith is not about life's circumstances, but a deep trust in God, even when life takes us through the darkest valleys. Job didn't just experience loss. He faced a test that most people would find unbearable. Yet, he never allowed despair to consume his heart. His story challenges us to think about our own reactions to hardship. Can we hold on to faith when everything seems lost? Job's resilience speaks to the power of a faith that goes beyond blessings. It's about trusting that God's presence is real, even when we don't feel it. Throughout his trials, Job shows us that faith is not about easy answers or immediate solutions. It's about a steadfast relationship with God. Many of us may look for answers during tough times, but Job's journey teaches us that sometimes the purpose is simply to trust. His story reminds us that faith can endure and that God remains close, especially in the midst of life's hardest challenges. Job's unwavering faith opens the door to the next phase of his story, where his trust in God is put to an unimaginable test. At the heart of Job's story lies a profound test, a divine wager, if you will, where God permits Satan to test Job's faith to its very limits. Satan argues that Job's faith is only strong because of the blessings surrounding him. God, confident in Job's devotion, allows Satan to take away Job's wealth, family, and even his health, with one restriction: Job's life must be spared. This test sets the stage for one of the most challenging and inspiring journeys of faith ever recorded. Imagine losing everything in an instant: the comfort of family, the stability of wealth, and the blessing of health. Job's story forces us to ask ourselves a tough question: would our faith survive such devastating loss? While Satan intended to shatter Job's spirit, this test reveals a different truth. Faith rooted in God goes beyond possessions or personal well-being. Job's suffering serves as a powerful example, showing that true faith withstands life's harshest trials. This divine wager is not about God doubting Job, but about revealing the strength of faith that's not dependent on circumstances. Job's unyielding faith becomes a testament to God's confidence in him, and an inspiration for us to hold firm in our own faith journeys. As the trials intensify, Job's trust in God doesn't waver, opening the door to the next chapter, where he endures unimaginable hardships yet continues to worship. Job's endurance in the face of overwhelming loss is one of the most inspiring parts of his story. Struck by unimaginable tragedy, he loses everything dear to him, yet he never abandons his faith. Despite his deep suffering, Job tears his robe, shaves his head in mourning, and still finds the strength to say, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." His words are a powerful testament that, even in profound grief, true faith holds firm. Job's response to his trials teaches us that faith is not an escape from pain, but a commitment to trust God in the midst of it. In a world where loss and hardship can shake us, Job shows that worship is not just for times of blessing, but also for the darkest moments. His willingness to keep honoring God, even when he has every reason to question, invites us to reflect on our own relationship with faith. Would we continue to trust God when everything seems lost? This chapter in Job's life reveals that faith's true strength is not tested by comfort, but by adversity. His resilience reminds us that, even in sorrow, we can find strength in God's presence. Job's example calls us to deepen our own faith, to embrace it as a source of strength, and to continue holding on to hope, even when hope seems out of reach. His journey of worship and endurance prepares the way for the next challenge, where he faces the doubts and questions of those closest to him. In his time of deepest suffering, Job is visited by his three friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, who come to comfort him but soon turn their words into accusations. They believe that Job's pain must be a punishment for hidden sins, and that repentance is the only way to restore his peace. Eliphaz speaks with confidence, suggesting that the innocent prosper, while Bildad and Zophar echo similar sentiments, turning Job's grief into a courtroom where he must defend his innocence. Job's response to his friends' accusations reveals his unwavering commitment to truth and integrity. Despite his physical agony and emotional turmoil, he refuses to accept their simplistic view of suffering. Job asserts that his heart is pure, standing firm in his belief that his trials are not a result of wrongdoing. This interaction challenges the notion that suffering is always a consequence of sin, a belief that Job's friends hold firmly, but which he rejects, knowing that faith and righteousness don't always shield one from hardship. These dialogues between Job and his friends teach us that faith sometimes requires standing firm, even against those who doubt our integrity. Job's defense of his innocence in the face of harsh judgment encourages us to seek understanding, not quick answers, in times of struggle. His friends' well-meaning but misguided advice serves as a reminder that faith is not a formula, and that suffering is not always a sign of guilt. Job's unwavering stand against their accusations opens the door to his ultimate encounter with God, where he seeks answers beyond human understanding. After all the questioning and doubt, God finally speaks to Job, appearing out of a powerful whirlwind. This encounter is nothing short of awe-inspiring. God doesn't answer Job's questions directly, but instead reveals his unmatched power and wisdom through a series of profound questions. "Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation?" God asks, reminding Job that human understanding is limited compared to his vast knowledge. This divine response is not about diminishing Job, but showing him the greater picture of his creation and sovereignty. God's message to Job is a reminder of the incredible complexity of the universe and the humility that true faith requires. He takes Job on a journey through creation, from the depths of the oceans to the constellations in the sky, illustrating that every element is held together by his power. This moment challenges Job, and us, to accept that there are mysteries beyond our grasp, and that God's plans are often too vast for human comprehension. Through this encounter, Job learns that faith means trusting in God's wisdom, even when we don't have all the answers. This conversation with God is transformative for Job. His suffering, though immense, is placed within the context of a world held together by God's hands. Job's story teaches us that faith isn't about demanding explanations, but about embracing the unknown and relying on God's infinite wisdom. This encounter brings Job to a place of peace and surrender, preparing him for the final chapter of his journey, where his faith is ultimately rewarded and his life restored. In the final chapter of Job's story, God restores everything he lost and more, rewarding his unshakable faith through unimaginable blessings. After enduring such deep suffering, Job's life is filled with abundance again. Family, wealth, and health are returned to him twofold. This restoration isn't just about material wealth. It's a powerful testament to the resilience of faith and the grace of God. Job's journey serves as a reminder that, even after the darkest trials, there is light and renewal for those who remain faithful. God's response to Job's friends is equally striking. He reprimands them for their flawed counsel, reminding them that they had spoken falsely about him. They believed they understood God's ways, but their judgment of Job's suffering was misguided. Through this act, God emphasizes that faith and suffering are not formulas for judgment. This lesson resonates today as a call to avoid assumptions about others' hardships, understanding that God's wisdom is beyond human interpretation. Job's restoration is a beautiful conclusion to a life of immense faith and perseverance. His story reassures us that no matter how severe the suffering, God sees, and He restores. For modern believers, Job's final blessing is a testament to God's compassion and His ability to bring transformation after pain. As Job's journey comes full circle, we are reminded that faith is a journey, one that may be difficult but ends in the peace and abundance that only God can provide. Job's story is a journey that reaches beyond the boundaries of loss and suffering, showing us what unshakable faith truly looks like. His life reminds us that, even when everything seems dark, God is present, guiding us through our deepest struggles. Have you ever wondered if your faith could withstand such trials? Job's legacy encourages us to hold fast to our belief, to seek God's wisdom even when life doesn't make sense. If his story resonated with you, remember that faith is a journey we're all on. Subscribe and turn on notifications to stay connected, as we continue exploring the profound lessons of the Bible together.